Hi, it's Nick from the Run Testers, and in this video I'm going to be comparing the Hoka Mach 4 and the Saucony Endorphin Speed. We'll kick off with some of the key stats of the shoe. The Hoka is £125 in the UK, whereas the Endorphin Speed is £155. In dollars, it's $130 for the Mach 4 and $160 for the Endorphin Speed. The Endorphin Speed has a drop of 8mm from heel to toe, whereas the Mach 4 has a drop of 5mm. And they're fairly similar when it comes to weight. In my UK size 9, the Hoka Mach 4 is 236 grams, which is 8.3 ounces, whereas the Endorphin Speed is 240 grams, or 8.5 ounces. Going into design, let's kick off by looking at some of the uppers. The Mach 4 has Hoka's pretty standard breathable kind of mesh upper. It's also got the kind of classic Hoka fit around the front, which is quite narrow around the toe box, although reasonably roomy at the very front, I find. And the midfoot I also find is quite roomy. I have reasonably narrow feet, but I've had to tighten these laces quite a lot to get a lockdown fit. There is a little bit of cush around the back here, but not too much. They want to keep the weight down on the shoe. And there's this Achilles pull tab here with a bit more cushioning to kind of protect your Achilles from rubbing on the shoe. The Endorphin Speed is pretty similar in lots of regards, actually. Again, I've had to crank the laces quite tight around the midfoot. I do have reasonably narrow feet. Upper, breathable, mesh, fine. Not too much cushioning, probably a bit more on the Endorphin Speed. It doesn't have that, long Achilles tab here, but it does have a fair bit of cush around the heel here. These are both designed to be kind of training shoes, but they also want to be quick, so they've not packed a load of cushioning there. Midsoles of the shoes are very different though. We've got a plate in the Endorphin Speed. It's a nylon plate rather than a carbon job, which means it's kind of less stiff, more comfortable to use for a lot of training. It has a PIBA-based foam, Power Run PB, which is Saucony's top foam. It's the stuff used in the Endorphin Pro as well. It's light, it's soft, it's springy, but you don't really notice that in the same way you would in something like the Vaporfly because of Saucony's speed roll technology in the shoe, which is about rolling you through your foot strike in an efficient manner and then kind of getting you exploding off your toes. It's a really smooth, comfortable shoe to run in. The Mach 4 has a kind of two-layer midsole. The top layer is a softer EVA compound than the bottom one. Basically, it's a nice kind of soft cushioned feel upon landing, but on the bottom you've got this rubberized layer of EVA, which is more durable, a bit firmer, and actually that works for the outsole of the shoe as well, which will lead to questions about durability we'll cover. There's no kind of extra rubber on the outsole here, it's just that rubberized foam. It's gripped pretty well for me, but yeah, some of the Hoka's done with a few shoes lately and it does kind of impact durability a little bit, but it does keep the weight of the shoe down because there isn't that layer of rubber there. It's worth saying that the Mach 4 has a Hoka's kind of Meta Rocker design in there and a kind of Pro Fly midsole, which is a dual density midsole. It's kind of softer at the back here, firmer at the front, soft for your landings, firm for your toe offs. And again, that rocker is there, like in lots of shoes that have either rockers or rollers to try and kind of move you through and off your toes in an efficient manner. Also, on the Mach 4, you'll notice has this swallow tail on the back here. That's designed for heel strikers to kind of land losing less energy and kind of, again, rolling through the foot strike more efficiently. Something Hoka's added to a few shoes lately. A couple of the brand, I think Saucony's Kinvara has a slight swallow tail on it as well. It's starting to crop up. Not always a fan, but on the Mach 4, it's been pretty good. Comes to the outsole of the Endorphin Speed. You have not a huge amount of rubber, but in key impact zones, there is some stuff there. The foam is kind of unprotected in the middle here, but has so far proved okay in terms of durability for me. I haven't had a lot of gouging out of that foam, despite the fact it looks quite soft and kind of want to dig my fingers into it. And then the rubber on it actually wears pretty well. This is a shoe I've done a lot of running in, and I've not seen any kind of notable wear and tear on that rubber, and it grips well in all conditions. I've done a lot of wet running in this, and I've never had a problem. Comes to the fit of the shoe, I am true to size in both. I don't really have many notes with the Endorphin Speed except to say, like I say, it is quite cranked quite tight around the midfoot there to try and get a lockdown on my foot, which is quite narrow. I've had a slightly similar thing with the Hoka, but also probably the bigger note here is that narrow toe box. There is enough room at the front in my size. I have no problem with the way it fit around the sides of my foot. It didn't rub or cause me pain or anything. But yeah, if you do have a wide foot and want more room there, that could be a little bit of a problem. Let's move on to the running performance of the shoe. The Endorphin Speed was the shoe I rated as the very best new shoe of 2020. I've done kind of well over 500k in the shoe now. We have a long-term review up on it. And I love it. I think it's a fantastic shoe. It's absolutely outstanding. It's incredibly versatile. It's pitched as this fast training companion to the Endorphin Pro, but I used it for a lot of easy running, found it very comfortable. I used it as a racing shoe, like even a 5K distance, and it was impressive there. You may be losing a slight bit of performance to compare to a full carbon shoe when it comes to race day, but not that much. It really is an amazing do-it-all shoe. I've done a lot of speed work in it, a lot of track sessions in it, taking it right up to kind of sub 5 minute a mile pace. It's probably the only shoe in the world that I would consider doing what I did in it, which was run a 5K race for my club, run a kind of 16-minute 5K, and then later that same day take it out for an hour easy afterwards. There really aren't many shoes that I would use for that kind of range of purposes, and it's really comfortable on all of them. It's got a slightly softer ride than a carbon shoe like the Endorphin Pro. It's a bit bouncier as a result because it's not stiff, but really, yeah, the main sensation you're getting here is a kind of smooth, comfortable, efficient ride that really just lets you do what you want. Yeah, fantastic shoe. The Mach 4 is another very versatile shoe that I've really loved using as well. I've only probably got about 90k on this shoe now, 80, 90k, because obviously it's a newer shoe, but I found it to be one of the best all-rounders out there, with the Speed being the kind of top of the tree in that front at the moment, in my opinion. It's a softer ride than the Endorphin Speed. It's less snappy. There's obviously no plate there to kind of propel you through, but you can still use it for speed work. First session I did in it was a speed session involving kind of a couple of 3k reps and some kind of short, sharp hill sprints in between. I've used it for an easy half marathon, took it out for a steady 20-mile run where I was holding a good pace. It really kind of disappeared on the foot for that 20-miler in particular. It just doesn't feel like it's hindering you at all. It's not like a softness where you're kind of squishing in and then having to work to kind of push on through the shoe. It's a softness that's protective, but still responsive. It's got a little bit of bounce to it, and it really allows for a nice range of running. I don't think it has the absolute top end speed of something like the Endorphin Speed, but it is probably more comfortable on easy runs. I am a heel striker, and this swallowtail design, I don't know if it's helping. I found with the Carbon X2 it didn't help, actually made the ride unpleasant on slower speeds, but this is less pronounced on the Mach 4, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it is helping. Yeah, I did find it very comfy on easy runs and enjoyable for steady runs, and I still think it has good amount of pace for kind of those all-out efforts, even if there are shoes that slightly top it on that front, including racing shoes and indeed the Endorphin Speed. I've talked a lot about this Saucony Endorphin Speed in videos. Like I said, I think it was the best shoe of last year, and I think it's the most versatile shoe out there at the moment. The Mach 4 is a new contender to that kind of versatility crown, but it hasn't edged it out yet, basically, is what I'm saying. I think the Endorphin Speed is still better just because it has got that edge on fast runs. Even if it's maybe slightly less comfortable in easy runs, you know, I'll take a little less comfort for a little more speed at the high end of things. I really think the Speed is, you know, only very slightly behind full carbon plate shoes when it comes to kind of performance, and yet obviously has the durability and comfort, you know, to use for your daily training as well. That's you know, really makes it an outstanding shoe. Whereas the Mach 4, you know, I love it. It's fast, it's comfortable, but it's kind of leans slightly towards the more the comfort end of things. I actually think it's very like what I use the Nike Pegasus Turbo for, which is to say it's a very versatile shoe you can use for everything, but excels probably more on the daily trainer side of things, less so on the speed side of things, even though it did still have the Speed for that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where I position these two shoes. The big drawback of the Mach 4 could potentially be its durability though. So after 80k, I have noticed kind of the pattern of the shoe wearing off in kind of my key impact zones, so kind of here, which is where I tend to land, so, you know, just the kind of front section of the heel there, and then the kind of toe off section. I've lost a bit of the pattern. Don't know if that's really affecting anything yet. You know, I haven't had no loss of grip or anything like that. It's just really the pattern. So I'll see how that carries on. Whereas the Endorphin Speed I've taken to 500 and, like I say, 550 kilometers or so, I've seen no wear out there. I've seen no real reduced level of performance from the shoe. So the durability is kind of fixed there. I believe this shoe has got the, you know, will last the distance, whereas the Mach 4 is still a bit of an unknown. And with rubberized outsoles, it's always going to be a little bit of a, that is going to probably not last as long. However, you know, that might be compensated for by the fact this is a cheaper shoe. It's kind of £30 less than the Endorphin Speed in the UK. I was going to say also that it's probably a shoe that's easier to get hold of because the Endorphin Speed is nearly all sold out. But I actually believe the Mach 4 at the time of me recording this is proving quite tricky to get hold of. So I can't really give that to the Mach 4 anymore. Maybe in the future though, the Speed has proven to only be launched in kind of limited drops throughout the year, whereas I'm expecting the Mach 4 to be more generally available in the future. I'd also say that these two shoes would actually work very nicely as a two-shoe rotation. Like I say, they're both very versatile, but you could kind of have your Mach for your really easy stuff, maybe your long, steady stuff, so your tempo stuff, save the Endorphin Speed for speed sessions and then races. even though neither is, you know, a pure easy day shoe or a pure racing shoe. They're both so versatile, they actually cover off the bases really nicely and work well together, whilst being more versatile than if you were building a 3-shoe rotation where you would need maybe a dedicated racer that you wouldn't use in training, then a dedicated fast trainer and a dedicated easy day shoe. You'd be completely well covered by having these 2 shoes in your rotation. But yeah, when it comes to a straight versus, the Speed has the edge for me. It's got that proven durability, that proven speed, while still being comfortable on easy days. The Mach 4 has a slightly softer feel to it. It's nice on easy runs. It's probably slightly nicer than the Endorphin Speed for pure easy efforts. But yeah, maybe lacks the same top end speed of the Speed. I keep saying the word speed. Maybe lacks the top end pace of the Speed. I'll say that instead. While still being a fast shoe. So really, you know, the Mach 4 is a great shoe, and I'm comparing it, like I say, maybe the best. So I don't want to put it down too much, but I'm still probably leading the Endorphin Speed as my best all-rounder shoe out there at the moment. So guys, that is our video comparison of the Saucony Endorphin Speed and the Hoka Mach 4. Have you used either or both of these shoes? Let us know in the comments which you prefer. And what else do you think really excels in this category, this versatile all-rounder shoe? Like, for me, it used to be the Nike Pegasus Turbo. Seems to be discontinued. Hopefully not. But I'm not really sure there's too many others out there that I'd put in a bracket with these 2. I really think they're kind of ahead of the game. So if you do think there's something out there, let me know. I'd love to check it out. Please like, subscribe, ring that little bell so you get told when we do another video, and we'll see you next time.